Hi, my name is Gretchen Holshoe. I'm the District Wildlife Manager for the Pueblo area. Primarily, I cover Pueblo West, which is just west of Pueblo, and it's GMU 84. In GMU 84, our closest public hunting to the actual city of Pueblo are the Pueblo State Wildlife Areas. And we're fortunate to have some good access there for public hunting, small game and big game. We've had really good luck for the last few years with good deer harvest. We have a really good mule deer population out there. We also have a pronghorn population. It can be a little spotty in the Pueblo wildlife areas due to the fact that there are some large ranches, and a lot of times with a little bit of pressure, the pronghorn will move on to these ranches. There are some elk that occasionally are seen down by the Arkansas River, and we've been fortunate enough to harvest a couple of those over the past few years, usually during the archery season. Once the big game seasons, as far as second and third rifle seasons commence, they usually move on to some of the larger ranches that are adjacent to the west. We also, in the December, the whole month of December, we have a whitetail only hunt, which is also very popular on the Arkansas River part of the state wildlife areas. And that can be really good, although it gets a lot of pressure. So if you plan on hunting that, be aware that there will be quite a few other hunters out, especially opening weekend and subsequent weekends. Best hunting is probably during the week. And then if you move farther east, or farther west in my district in GMU 84 again, there is some good public land hunting on the U.S. Forest Service grounds. One of the most popular ones as far as access would be in Wetmore. And the local name for this area is called Babcock Hole. It's right off of Highway 96, and there's fairly good maps and directions on how to get there. We've had quite a few forest fires there in the past few years, so it's really opened up a lot of good hunting and a lot of good vegetation regrowth. There's a lot of elk in there and a lot of deer. Again, they do get pushed around. There's some large ranches on either side of the Forest Service strip there. But it can be really productive, as well as for turkey also. It's a very popular place for spring turkey in Babcock Hole and the Mason Gulch areas. And then if you were to go from Highway 96 over to the town of Beulah, which is right off of Highway 78, there's a road called North Creek Road, and it's Forest Service 387. And you can access that road from either side, and you will see that there is a narrow strip of Forest Service ground that you can access. Most of it is private. There's a particular area where there's one cattle guard, and then you reach another cattle guard, and that little section between is maybe a half mile is a great place to access the forest on either side of the road. If you were to continue up 96 and go to McKenzie Junction and take basically a left and go south on Highway 165, you'll note that there's quite a few Forest Service access points there. One of them is on County Road 386. It's known locally as the South Hardscrabble Road, and there's a parking area that the Forest Service just put in. We've had some big rock slides and some wildfires in the past that have prevented that road from being permanently open all the way to what we call North Creek Road. But there is a good access point right there. It's about a quarter mile in, and there's some really excellent hunting in there. It hasn't been open for the past few years, so it's going to be a really great spot for elk hunters this year, especially that first rifle season. If you continue down Highway 165 south, going towards the town of Rye, there's a number of different access points. One of them is called the Ditch Creek Trailhead and Left Horn Creek, as well as Silver Circle. If you come off of 165, you'll see a big sign for Silver Circle, and there's numerous roads in there that you can hunt. Four-wheelers are allowed in there, and there's a lot of free camping spots. So that can offer some really good elk and deer hunting, and again, turkey's very popular there also. There's another access point called the Davenport Campground, and if you were to drive in there, it's a U.S. Forest Service campground, but there's plenty of access points that you can get to as far as Squirrel Creek, and you can even take that all the way down into Beulah and access the Pueblo Mountain Park down there. You're not allowed to hunt in the park, but you can turn around when you get down there and work your way back up. There's some excellent hunting in there, very rough terrain, so I recommend you're in good physical shape if you are to go off the trail. Units 123 and 124, which are east of I-25 in eastern Pueblo County. There's some terrific hunting out there. There's great mule deer, and there's some spotty elk populations and some great whitetail hunting, as well as a lot of pronghorn. What you really need to be aware of if you are to hunt those units is that they are just about 100% private. So you will have to find some private landowner access before you hunt these areas, or even put in for them during the draw. So if you can secure some hunting grounds out there, the hunting can be great, but just be aware that it is limited. Thank you, and happy hunting.